Right, welcome back to another game of OnBase Baseball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of OnBase. In this video, we're going to get a first look at a new product that I'm trying to get to market for OnBase Baseball, and this would be OnBase Pocket Edition. So essentially, you would take OnBase Baseball and you would print cards, and then it would fit into the size of a tuck box. So basically a super portable way to take an entire season. Might even be just the way that you would want to purchase OnBase Baseball, just to have it into a portable tuck box type situation. So you can see we have our cards here, and let me just zoom in a little bit. All right. So you can see we have our cards here. Let's come out just a tad. There we go. So basically, several cards would be front and back of the game guide. This would be kind of getting started, like how to play, the pitcher-hitter interaction, that type of thing. Then I have a card for fielding, which tells you about the different, how to deal with the ground outs and fly outs, and what constitutes, like, what are some common situations where you would choose the double play over the strikeout. Base running is on a card. So automatic base running, tagging up, how to do that. And then long singles, what does it mean when there's a long single? The strategy plays, so when you have a sacrifice bunt, or you have a squeeze play or a suicide squeeze. And on a squeeze or on a bunt play, here's a little guide. You can roll the D9 and it'll tell you who the player is that receives the bunt. For stealing bases, just kind of going through everything stealing bases. If there's not a backside, then I just have this nice little Pocket Edition logo. And then we get into the cards themselves. So these are the batter cards, and you can see that they're denoted with a red number here at the top. So this would be your 30 plus batting runs player, and then it would just have all of your results here, 10 to 30, your -5 to +10, the less than -5, and then I created a pitcher card as well, because the National League had pitching, or pitchers hitting, and I didn't have a lot of room. You'll see on the cards, it was enough room to put all of the regular position players plus a bench, and there just wasn't enough room to put the pitchers with their pitching stats. So I have a common pitching card. This actually comes with the game if you purchase the game, and it's very similar. It's very similar to this card, but not exactly the same. And again, on the back side, you can see it has a nice logo. These are just prototypes, so they're not cut exactly. You can see there's some there's some inconsistencies, but if you got these from the printer, it would be a print on demand product. So you would get them from the printer, so they'll be a little bit better put together. But I just wanted to be able to have something to play and to show. And so now here are the pitcher cards as well, again with the logo on the back. And your excellent starters, mid-level, lower mid-level, and then 475 and up. And then we get into the actual cards, the team cards. So I have these a little bit backward, but on one side is going to be a pitcher. So these are the pitchers for the Braves. You can see that the red denotes the starting pitchers. So you have what is their role, their handedness, their name, their stamina, and their FIP. So we have all the key pieces of information that you need in order to play with these. Now there's obviously no statistics here. So you wouldn't have those to kind of go back on, but you do have their FIP. So these are all the gameplay values. And on the front side, you have the batters. Every team is set up the same way with batters on one side, pitchers on the other. There are not all the same number of pitchers, so you can see between the Red Sox and the Braves just used fewer pitchers than the Red Sox did. And the red on this side denotes the most common lineup. So I went through and found the most common lineup for each team. You may or may not agree, but this was from Baseball Reference, and I took the most common lineup. It could be that they played 4 games this way and 3 games with another. I took the one with 4 games. So obviously you have in red, that's your most common lineup. So your starting 9 in order. So if you just wanted to, which is what I did with this game, I just went through and I wrote down in order the players that were in the red, and that's going to give you your most common lineup. In black are your bench players, and those are put on there by number of games or number of plate appearances. So you have your guys that played the most at the top. So Jeff Burrows is going to be sort of your first option off the bench, or maybe he's a platoon guy with somebody up here. I don't know who he would platoon with. Maybe Jerry Royster. I don't know. So he might be a platoon player or come in later in the year. And then as you go down, you have the guys with fewer ABs. I tried to make sure that there's at least a backup catcher and some other things. So you can see here, there's the Red Sox. They had quite a few more pitchers that they started throughout the year. We're going to play Boston at Baltimore, so we'll have Dennis Eckersley going. But you can see Steve Renko, John Tudor, Chuck Rainey, Steve Crawford, Bruce Hurst. So these are all Bob Ojeda. I assume it's a young Bob Ojeda, an old Jack Billingham. And then you have their relief pitchers here. Again, relief pitchers are in descending order. So this is the relief pitcher that had faced the most total batters, and then all the way down to the ones that faced the least. So you can kind of just know that these first 3, 4, 5 relief pitchers are the ones that were going to be used the most. And then on the batter side, you can see they have their top 9 in order, and then Butch Hobson represents the beginning of the bench, and then you have these players coming off the bench. Butch Hobson maybe platooning with Glenn Hoffman, not sure, or maybe he just I'm not sure what the makeup of the 1980 Red Sox was, to be honest. And then they'll be playing the Orioles, and you can see the Orioles here. So Scott McGregor, Mike Flanagan, Steve Stone, Jim Palmer, Mike Boddicker. That's a pretty salty top 5. Really, it's a top 4. Boddicker didn't pitch very many innings, maybe 6 or 10 innings. And then you have your relief pitchers going down through here also. Very excellent pitching staff from top to bottom for the Orioles. And then on this side, I need to make Kiko Garcia red. He's actually one of the top 9, and so I had to go back and do that. This is sort of a prototype, so I'm looking at all the different things that I messed up and see if I can make those better. And then you start with Al Bumbry at the top, and then you go all the way down to Kiko Garcia. You're familiar with many of these names, Singleton and Murray, just a couple of like big-time power hitter switch hitters in the middle of the lineup. I like these two teams against each other because Boston feels like it's a little bit more balanced team, and then Baltimore, they feel like they're just fireworks. So we'll see how that works out. But you can see just going through the Angels, the Cubs, the White Sox. So these are just all the teams, and you would get every team listed with the same sort of format. pitchers on one side, hitters on the other side, and their top starting lineups are going to be in red. So, and then you have them rated for their batting, defense, and speed that you can see there. And then essentially the way that you would use these is that you would use them like you would use the roster sheets, but I'll show you how to use the cards in order to play as well. So let me take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll play a game off of these cards. All right, so let's get into this game. This is pretty much how I would assume to lay it out for myself if I'm playing. So right now we have Dennis Eckersley with a 387 FIP. He would be using this card, and Scott McGregor with a 335 will be using this card. If they were both using the same card, you would just have the one. Off to the side, I've got my other pitcher cards, the pitcher hitting card, which we're not going to need because both teams are using the DH. And then I also have the two lineups just over here for a quick reference or for bringing in substitute players. And I don't really need the gameplay cards. Been playing this game for many years now, so I'm very familiar with all the game mechanics, but I do have them over there just in case. So you can see that I've basically just transferred everything over here. So you can see the Red Sox. It's Burleson, Stapleton, Lynn, Perez, Fisk. I've just transferred those over, and I did the same thing for the Orioles. So essentially the lineups are there for you to transfer over onto a score sheet. You could put it into a digital format as well. However you want to do that. And then all you would need as far as gameplay is this. So this would be like playing the roster sheets with the game engine chart, except these will be cards, you know, like poker sized playing cards. So let's go ahead and get this one started. It's going to be Burleson, Stapleton, and Fred Lynn against Scott McGregor. So when we play, we always look off of the pitcher card first. So we're looking here at a 14. That's going to be a blank. And then Burleson is a -7. So he's going to be on this card here that goes from -5. Or I'm sorry, a -7 is going to be here, less than -5. So a 14 here is going to be hit by pitch or a walk. If the D9 is a 2 or greater, it is a 3. So Rick Burleson starts the game off with a walk. His speed is only a 4, so I'm not going to try to steal with him. But Dave Stapleton is up. He's a +7. A 45 on a +7 is here. That's going to be a single with an error check. So to me, that's a single to right field. So 7, 8, or 9 is to right field. And we have a base hit here. He's going to move up to second. And we check the error on the right fielder. The right fielder is Ken Singleton. He's a -21 defender. But he does not make the error. So we have runners at first and second. Again, Burleson just a 4 speed, so I'm not going to try to send him to third base. Oh, Fred Lynn with the big pop here. 22, 2 and 18 batting runs is going to be a double or a triple if the D9 is an 8 or greater. It's a 4, so that's going to be a double into the left center field gap. And that's going to score the run from second. And that'll push the run here, the runner over to third. He's another 4, so I'm not going to push the envelope with nobody out. And Tony Perez coming up to the plate. It'll be Perez and then Fisk. 24 against a 3 batting runs is going to be a double play or a strikeout. Now we have a runner at second and third, so there's no double play situation. So that's just a strikeout. And he gets Tony Perez swinging for the first out of the inning. So 1 down, and Carlton Fisk to the plate. 15 to Fisk is going to be a ground out. That goes to first base. That's going to be a fielder's choice. so we'll say 3 unassisted on the putout. That is going to be an RBI as the runner comes home from third, and the runner over here goes to second, or to third base. So 2 down and 2 in for Boston already. A 45 to a +8 is going to be a single with an error check as Yastrzemski goes the other way with it. He's going to drive in a run from third, and we'll see if there's any sort of error on the play. The left fielder is Pat Kelly. He's a minus defender, and that means that is an error as he fumbles the ball. That allows Yastrzemski to get to second base and on the E7. Jim Rice to the plate, another 45, another single with an error check. This time goes to center field, and with 2 outs, that run from second's going to score, and this is a huge inning in the first inning off of a pretty good pitcher. So let's check the error on the center fielder. No error. Has to be a 1 or a 2 to be an error. And with 2 outs, I always give runners an extra base, so not uncommon. A 33 is going to be a strikeout, and that's a strikeout looking off of the pitcher's card. So a couple strikeouts in the inning, but Erickson does give McGregor, I'm sorry, gives up 4 runs in the first inning to Boston. And Boston coming out swinging. Let's see what the powerful Orioles lineup can do against Dennis Eckersley. Eckersley 387, so he's going to be pitching off this card here. So the 24 is the only thing that we have to worry about for him. A 13 to Al Bumbry, who is here, is going to be a ground out right back to the pitcher, and that'll be out number 1. Pat Kelly to the plate. He is a +3. So this is going to be a walk for Pat Kelly, who stands at first. He's a 7. Let's go and try to steal second with him. Oh, 1, 2, 7. He'll be safe. Roll again. It's a 5. And he is in there safely with the stolen base. Technically, that's on a 1 to 9 scale, so you should just re-roll a 10. I sometimes just let the 10 be a 10, but you should really re-roll. All right, 2-5, a 25 to a 38 batting runs. So we're looking at this card here. 25 is going to be a flyout with an error check, so that's out to left field. The left fielder is Jim Rice. He's a minus defender, but he does make the catch there. So that's going to be out number 2. And that'll bring up Eddie Murray with a chance to drive in a run. 13 is not going to get it done, though, as he grounds out to the first baseman, who tosses it to the pitcher covering, and that's going to be the 3rd out. So Baltimore strands a runner in scoring position, and we head to the top of the 2nd inning. 4-0 Boston in this one. 25 to Glenn Hoffman is going to be a fly out. That goes out to left field. No problem in left as Pat Kelly makes the catch. That's going to be out number 1. We got a 66 to Rick Burleson. So a 66 is going to be a single or a home run, and depending on what the D9 is. Now our D9 is an 8, and this says a home run 7. So anything 7, 8, or 9 on the D9 is going to be a home run. And Rick Burleson goes yard against Scott McGregor, and they are just beating up on the Orioles starter. Brings up Dave Stapleton. This is going to be a double into the left center field gap. Stapleton now 2 for 2, and he's in scoring position for Freddie Lynn. 14 to Fred Lynn is going to be a base hit, and that's going to go down the left field line. Going to third base is Stapleton, and now we have runners at first and third, 1 in and 1 out. 45 to a +3 batting runs is a single with an error check. That's a base hit to left field. And there's no error on the play. So that's going to be an RBI single for Tony Perez as he pushes that run to second base. And the runner from third comes in to score. 4 runs scored by the top 2 players in the lineup. That'll get it done every day of the week. Carlton Fisk to the plate. He is an 11 batting runs. 44 is going to be a walk. And things going from bad to worse here as the bases are now loaded. It is 6-0 Boston in this one. A 56 to an 8 batting runs is going to be a strikeout. So strikeout's the saving grace for McGregor in this one. He's got 2 outs, 2 already in, and the bases loaded. A 44 to a 14 batting runs is going to be another walk as he walks in a run. And coming across the plate is Fred Lynn, and it's now 7-0. Oh boy, and this is going to be a bases clearing triple by Dewey Evans. 1, 2, 3, and everybody comes home on the triple. And it's now an unrecognizable score. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a new pitcher here. All right, and it is the second inning, and it is 10-0 Boston in this one. We got 2 down. We got a runner at third base, and then the new pitcher is going to be Dave Ford, 55 for Ford, who is a 4.82 FIP. So he's using this final card here. 55 to a -3 batting runs is going to be a line out or foul out. This is a 1, so it's going to be a line out, and that's going to be a line drive to the second baseman. So he does come in and get the third out of the inning, but not before Boston puts up 6, and this one is a rout in inning number 2. So let's see if Boston can get up off the mat here and put some runs together against the Eck. 36 to Lowenstein, who is a +9. 36 is going to be a base hit up the middle. And Lowenstein is on first. Brings up Graham, who is this? Dan Graham, the left-handed hitting catcher. 46 to a 6. 46 is going to be a double play or a strikeout. With a runner at first, that's going to be a double play. That goes to the shortstop. So we'll say 6-4-3 on the putout. And Eckersley getting just what he needs at the right time. A 12 is going to be a ground out to first base. So we'll say he takes it to the bag himself. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Eckersley in the bottom of the second inning. And we head to the top of the third. It is 10-0 Boston. A 66 to a -7, another single home run chance. This is going to be a base hit. And at first is Rick Burleson. Burleson now 2 for 2. 55 to Stapleton. 55 is nothing here. And so a 55, will be a line out or a foul out. Again, this is less than 6, so it's a line drive. And a line out to the catcher is not possible, so we're going to call that a P2. That actually is in the guidebook as what you're supposed to do when there's a line drive to the catcher. So no runner advancement there. A 12 is going to be a ground out, but that's a little tapper to the shortstop. It'll allow the runner to go move up to second base on the fielder's choice. And we'll go 6-3 on the putout. The only play there was to first base. So runner at second base, and Tony Perez to the plate, a 46 to a +3 batting runs is going to be a strikeout. So first inning of the game where Boston has not scored, and they did get a runner in scoring position, but they can't bring him home, and it's 10-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. Good job by Dave Ford. Up for Baltimore is going to be Dower, Garcia, and then back to the top of the order with Bunbury. 16 is going to be a deep fly ball that goes out to right center field. It's deep, but it is playable, and that's going to be caught in center field by Freddie Lynn. Here's a 44. A 44 to a -24 is going to be a walk. So a walk to the number 9 hitter brings us back to the top of the order with Al Bunbury. 46 to a 27 is going to be a line out or a pop out. That's a 2, so it'll be a line drive, and that goes to the shortstop. I'm sorry, it goes to the left fielder. It's going to be out number 2. So I'll line out to the left as Jim Rice makes a good catch on that line drive. And it'll bring up Pat Kelly, who is the left fielder. He's a +3, a 35. Is going to be a ground out to first base. We'll toss it to the pitcher who's covering, and Eckersley steps on first for the out. So Garcia gets on with a 1-out walk, but they can't bring him around to score. We head to the top of the 4th inning, 10-0 Boston over Baltimore. We got a 12. That's going to go to Carlton Fisk. That's always a ground out with a runner advance, so you can kind of just know that. It's a little tapper, fielder's choice. He only played at first. So Fisk is out. That's his second ground out. That's going to bring up Yaz. Yaz is 1 for 2. He's a +8, so he's on this card here. So 45 is going to be a single. That is down the left field line. We'll see if there's an error. It's a 7, so there's no error on the play. And Fisk is at first base with a 1-out single. 25 to a 14 is going to be a fly out with an error check, so it's a fly ball to left field. No error on the play. And it's Kelly making the catch out in left field. No runner advancement on that play. Brings up Dwight Evans. 34 could be trouble, as 34 to a 15 is a fly out. That goes out to dead center field. And for some batters, 34 is good. You can see there's singles, but for the better hitters, 34 is going to be an out. And that will take care of Boston in the top of the 4th. 10-0 is our score. And we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Singleton, Murray, and Lowenstein. Lowenstein? Not sure how you say it. You say potato, I say potato. Same thing. 38 for Ken Singleton, who flied out in his first at-bat. A 35 to him is going to be a walk. So Singleton on base with the walk. Just a 2 for his speed, so not a threat to steal here. A 14 to Eddie Murray is going to be a single, a long single. That's a base hit down the right field line. And for Murray, he's going to stop at first, but that long single does push the runner all the way to third base. So Baltimore got something cooking right now. 13 is going to be a ground out that goes to second base. And what I'm going to do here is on this regular ground out with less than 2 outs, I'm going to roll against the batter's speed rating to see if we get the double play. So there are some automatic double plays, and I'm going to play this where I can possibly get a double play. So we're going to go 4-6 on the put out. So this guy's out. That'll be out number 1. And depending on the roll here, we have to roll greater than 4 to get a double play. 10 doesn't count. Oh, it's a 4, and Lowenstein just beats it out. So we're going to go 4-6. He's going to get an an RBI as the run comes home. And Baltimore is finally on the board. So they're finally on the board with their first run. We've got a runner at first base and one out and one in for Boston. It'll be Dan Graham, to the plate. Graham with 6 batting runs. He's got a 46. 46 to a 6 is going to be a double play or a strikeout. This will be hit to the shortstop, and that's going to be tailor-made as they go 6-4-3 on the double play. So even when Baltimore gets something going, it just can't get anything going. It's now 10-1. Boston over Baltimore as we head to the top of the 5th. Let's see, we've got, let's see, he's got 9 batters. Ford has, so we'll let him throw one more inning. Let's see if he can get through that. -3 to Hoffman. So a 45 to a -3 is going to be a single with an error check. So it's a base hit up the middle. No error on the play. Hoffman just a 4-speed. They're also up by 9 runs, so probably not gonna run there. Burleson with a -7. This is a 25. 25 to a -7 is going to be a flyout with an error check. So it's a flyout to straightaway right field. No error on the play. And making the catch is going to be Ken Singleton in right field. Brings up Stapleton. He is also going to fly out, this time to center field. And no error in center field. So it's a couple of quick outs. No runner advancement on those fly balls. And it's going to be Freddie Lynn to the plate. 55 to Fred Lynn will be a double play or strikeout with 2 outs. No need to take the double play. That's going to be a strikeout swinging as Freddie Lynn goes down. So after a leadoff single by Hoffman, Dave Ford goes 1-2-3 in the inning, finishes it off with a strikeout of Fred Lynn. That's going to be the end of his day. We'll bring in a new pitcher in the top of the 6th inning, but good relief appearance for him, and we'll see if the rest of the team can pick it up. There's still time for Baltimore to get back in this one, but they're down 10-9 or 10-1, and we are going into the bottom of the 5th. It's Doug DeCinces, Rick Dower, and Kiko Garcia. Rich Dower, sorry. DeCinces grounded out to first in his first at-bat. A 55 is going to be a line out or a foul out. So it looks like it's a line drive. And that liner goes right to the third baseman. And nice play at third by Hoffman for out number 1. Eckersley kind of cruising in this one. He has given up 1 run, but that's been it. This is another grounder. This one goes to shortstop. 6-3, not 4. And that's going to be out number 2 as Dower down for the second time. Kiko Garcia to the plate. We have a 24. This is the only result off of Eckersley's card. So that's going to be a 24. That's a ground out. And another one, big 2-hopper to the shortstop. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Dennis Eckersley. So the Eck mowing down Baltimore. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Let's get a new pitcher in for the Orioles. All right, new pitcher is going to be Dennis Martinez for the Baltimore Orioles. He replaces Dave Ford. Ford goes 3 1/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. That's after a pretty disastrous inning in 2/3 by the starter, Scott McGregor. Martinez, 17 stamina and 4.86 Sierras, or FIP. And so we're going to keep using this card here. It's going to be Perez, Fisk, and Yastrzemski here in the top of the 6th. 46 to Tony Perez is a strikeout. So that'll be a strikeout looking, and that's out number 1. A 45 should be some sort of good thing for Carlton Fisk. 45 is a long single. That's a base hit to left field. Fisk with just a 5 speed. He's going to make a big turn at first and go back, and that'll bring up Yaz to the plate. A 34 to Yastrzemski, who is an 8. That's going to be a single, a long single down the left field line. And Yastrzemski with a second base hit. That's going to push the runner all the way to third as he goes first to third. Fisk does. Jim Rice with 1 in scoring position and 2 on. 1 out. This is a 26 to Jim Rice, who's a 14. 26 is going to be a single with an error check. That's a base hit into right center field. As Rice goes the other way with it. No error on the plate. So Fisk is going to go to second. That's going to be an RBI single for Jim Rice. And the lead is now back up to 10. It's 11-1. Boston. 14 to a 15 is going to be another base hit, this time into right center field again. That will just go station to station with everybody. So bases loaded for Glenn Hoffman. Hoffman singled in his last time up. 56, though, is going to be a strikeout as Martinez gets the strikeout swinging. And that'll be out number 2. And let's see if he can wiggle his way out of this one. Rick Burleson to the plate. He's 2 for 3 with a home run. A 23 to Burleson is going to be a ground out, but there's an error check. So a hot grounder to first base. No error on the play. And he'll toss that to the pitcher covering. That'll be the 3rd out of the inning. So Boston does get 1, and they fill the bases with Boston Red Sox. But they can't bring more than 1 home. So good job by Dennis Martinez getting himself in and out of hot water. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 11-1 Boston over Baltimore. Dennis Eckersley at 18 batters. You can see he can go 27 for his stamina before we would need to drop him down a card. So he's going to get a ground ball from Bumbry as Bumbry hits it hard, but right at the second baseman. And that's going to be out number 1. Pat Kelly to the plate. This will be a double down the left field line as Kelly swats one down the opposite way. And that rolls and rattles around into the corner. And Kelly will be at second base with a 1-out double. Ken Singleton is the plate. He's 0 for 1. A 35 to Singleton is going to be a walk. So second straight walk for Big Kenny Singleton. And that's going to bring up Eddie Murray, switch hitting Hall of Fame batter. This comes off of Eckersley's card. A 24 is going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. So we're going to get a fielder's choice here. That'll be out number 2. And let's roll against Murray's speed, which is a 4. If it's a 5 or greater, he'll be out at first. 1 to 4, he'll be safe. It's a 3, and Murray just legs it out. So we're going to go 6-4 on the putout. And this runner will move up to third. So runners at the corners now. And it'll be John Lowenstein. A 23 to a 9. 23 is going to be a ground out with an error check. So that's a grounder short. The error check is no error. And so we're going to go 6-3 on the putout. That'll end the inning as Baltimore threatens again. But Dennis Eckersley is up to the challenge. We head to the top of the 7th inning. It is 11-1 Boston over Baltimore in this 1980 AL East matchup. Dennis Martinez still on the mound. He'll face off against Stapleton, Lynn, and Perez. A 15 to a +7 will be a base hit as that's slapped into left center field. Third hit of the day for Stapleton. That's going to bring up Freddie Lynn. And 18, 26 to an 18 is going to be a single with an error check. That's a base hit right up the middle as he bounces one through the box. Let's see if there's an error. on the center fielder. Possible error. Center fielder is Al Bumbry. He's a +2 on defense, so no error on the play. And that's going to bring up Tony Perez. Perez with 3 strikeouts, but he does have an RBI single and a run scored. 14 to a +3 is going to be a hit by pitch or a walk. It's a 2 on the D9, so that's a walk. As Martinez walks the bases loaded. Second inning in a row that he's had the bases loaded. Let's see what he can do. We're going to play the infield in. That means that any force out is going to go to, any fielder's choice is going to go to the plate. Any double play is going to go to the plate and first base. A 36 to an 11. 36 is going to be a fly out. That goes out to center field. So that'll be out number 1. Let's check here. His speed is a 4. We're going to leave him there. So we'll have the bases loaded. Going to play the infield in again with Yastrzemski to the plate. He's 3 for 4. At 16, that's going to be a deep fly ball. This is going to score the run as he hits one down into the right field corner. Making the catch in right field is going to be Singleton right at the warning track just in front of the wall. And that's going to score this runner here as everybody is going to move up. So all runners move up. And that's going to be Jim Rice to the plate with 2 on the pond and 2 outs. 14 to a 14 is going to be a base hit. That's up the middle. 2-run single for Jim Rice. And that will bring in all of those runners. So 2 RBI single, 3 more tack on. It is now 14 to 1, Boston over Baltimore. 24 is going to be a walk that comes off of the pitcher's card. And it'll be Hoffman to the plate, who struck out in his last at-bat. A 25 to a -3 is going to be a fly out with an error check. So this goes out to center field. The center fielder is Al Bumbry, and he's going to make the catch. That'll be out number 3, but 3 more come across for Boston, and this one is quite a route. It is 14 to 1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Dennis Eckersley still in the game for the Red Sox, pitching a gem on the road against Baltimore, and the fans at Memorial Stadium are leaving in droves at this point. A 35 that goes to Dave Graham. A 35 is going to be a ground out that goes to the shortstop. So it'll be Burleson over to the first baseman Perez for out number 1. 45 to a 0 is going to be a single with an error check. So this is a base hit down the left field line for Doug DeCinces. Let's check the error on the left fielder. That's Jim Rice. No error. So DeCinces at first. And this is going to be a big pop here by Rich Dower. And it will be a 22. A 22 with a 1 is going to be a double down the left field line. That pushes the runner all the way to third and should give him 2 bases there. And a 1-out double from Rich Dower puts runners at second and third for Kiko Garcia. A 34 to a -24. 34 is going to be a base hit. That goes down the right field line. That will score this run. 1 RBI. And he's a 3. So not going to chance that. Let's leave the runners out there. First and third. 1 out. 1 already in for Baltimore. And it'll be Al Bumbry to the plate, who is a little tapper just past the pitcher. The only play is going to be to first base. So that's going to be out number 2. He does get an RBI as all the runners advance on the fielder's choice. So coming home to score is Rich Dower, and Bumbry gets the RBI. We have a runner at second base now. It's Kiko Garcia, And Pat Kelly coming up to the plate. He's 1 for 2. A 26 to a 3 is going to be a ground out as he hits a little two-hopper to first base. No problem at first for Perez, who's going to toss it to the pitcher covering. And Baltimore puts up 2 in the bottom of the 7th, but it's most likely too little too late as it's 14 to 3. That's our score here. Let's get Dennis Martinez out of the game. Actually, we're just going to let him play. He's got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Yeah, we'll let him go one more. He's just eating up innings at this point. So 14 to 3, and we're at the top of the 8th inning. 6th time around for the Boston Red Sox. And it'll be excuse me, Rick Burleson, Dave Stapleton, and Fred Lynn. Burleson is 2 for 4. He scored a couple of runs. He has a solo home run in this one. A 25 to a -7. It's going to be a fly out. That goes out to left field. Let's test the left fielder. Possible error. And it is an error on Pat Kelly. His second error of the day. Not a good start for him. And that'll bring up Dave Stapleton. 36 to Stapleton. Nothing off the pitcher card. So 36 is going to be a base hit. That one is up the middle. And it's just Hitsville, USA for the Boston Red Sox. So 66 to Freddie Lynn. That's going to be a double as he hits one into the left center field gap. And that pushes that runner to third. That's going to score this run from second. So RBI double from Freddie Lynn as Boston pushes its way to 15 runs. 25 against Tony Perez. 25 is going to be a flyout with an error check. That goes out to center field. And no error on the play. So the catch is made in center field by Al Bumbry. Got runners at second and third. A 34 to Carlton Fisk. 34 to an 11 is going to be another flyout. This one goes out to right center field. And that's going to bring up Yaz. Sacrifice fly in his last at bat, but a 35 to an 8 is going to be a ground out as that goes to the shortstop. 6-3 on the putout. And Boston gets one more. They now have an even 15, and it is 15 to 3. Boston over Baltimore. We are at 27, 28, 29 batters for Dennis Eckersley. And just for the sake of democracy, let's get in another pitcher. All right, new pitcher is going to be Dick Drago. Drago comes in. Drago. You say Drago, I say Drago. He comes in here in the 8th inning. He'll face off against the heart of the order, Singleton, Murray, and Lowenstein. He's replacing Eckersley. Eckersley, 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, and no strikeouts for the Red Sox. Really not a lot of trouble except the last inning there for Dennis Eckersley. Ken Singleton is 0 for 1. He's got a couple of walks and a run scored. A 23, is going to be a ground out, and that goes to the third baseman. Oh, and that's going to be an error on who's playing third, Hoffman. So we'll go E5. As Hoffman makes the error, puts Ken Singleton on for the third time in this game. A 36. So I need another. This is the card we need to use. So a 36 to a 31 is going to be a home run as Eddie Murray goes crank job out to right center field. And that's going to be a 2-run homer for Baltimore. That makes it a more respectable 15 to 5 at this point. A 44 to a +9 batting runs is a fly out. That goes out to right center field. Picking it up is the right fielder. That's going to be Dewey Evans in right. And that'll bring up Dave Graham. Graham 0 for 3. He's grounded out to shortstop twice. 2 of those have been ground out double plays. It's a tough day. But he gets a little revenge here as he hits a triple into right center field. So the catcher with a 3-bagger legs it out. And that'll put Graham at third base with 1 out. 2 already in for Baltimore. 24, that's going to be a base hit off of the pitcher. So that'll score a run. As Baltimore trying to make a little noise here late in the game. Rich Dower to the plate. Dower is 1 for 3. A 13 is going to be a ground out. That will be to the shortstop. So we'll go 6-4 on the fielder's choice. That'll be out number 2. And let's roll against the batter's speed. His speed is 3. So 1 to 3 he's safe. 4 to 9 he's out. It is an 8, and Boston completes the double play as they go 6-4-3 to get out of the inning. But they did give up 3 runs as Baltimore's put up 5 late here. It's 15-5, and we head to the top of the 9th inning, and it will be let's get a new pitcher in for Baltimore. All right, new pitcher is going to be Tippy Martinez for Baltimore. Left-handed pitcher. He can go 6 batters for his stamina. He's got a 3.17 FIP, and so he'll be coming off this card here. He replaces Dennis Martinez. Sorry, he goes 3 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, only 4 were earned, 2 walks and 2 Ks. And they'll be facing off against Rice, Evans, and Hoffman, so bottom of the order for Boston. Jim Rice is 3 for 4. He's got 2, 4, 5 RBIs. And it's just been a killer here. A 24 to a 14 batting runs is going to be a strikeout. And that'll be a strikeout swinging as Martinez gets Jim Rice swinging. 23 to a 15. This is Dewey Evans to the plates. That's going to be a ground out right back to the pitcher. No error on the play as Martinez makes a good throw to first. Got 2 quick ones here in the 9th inning. Glenn Hoffman to the plate. This will be another ground out. This one goes to short. No problem. At shortstop for Kiko Garcia as he makes a play to first base. That'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Tippy Martinez in the 9th. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 15-5. Let's make sure that 10, 13, 14, 15 to 6. I'm sorry. 15-6. And Dick Drago is looking to close this one out. He's facing a -24. A 34 here is going to be a single as Kiko Garcia lifts one right over the first baseman's head down the right field line. And that's going to be in for a base knock. Back to the top of the order with Al Bumbry. 23 to Bumbry, who is a 27 batting runs. That's going to be a ground out with an error check. So ground ball to third. Let's see if there's an error. No error on the play. So we're going to go 5-4 on the put out to second base. Let's roll against that batter. Bumbry, 1 to 7, he'll be safe at first. Otherwise, he's out. It's a 9, and they get him on the double play. As he hits it hard to third base, and they go around the horn, 5 to 4 to 3. And that's going to be a double play for Boston. Pat Kelly to the plate. He's a +3. 34 here is going to be a long single into right field. Kelly is a 7, so he's actually going to turn that into a double. So if the batter's speed is a 6 or greater, he turns the long single into a double. So Kelly in scoring position for Ken Singleton. Singleton with a 44. 44 is going to be a base hit into straightaway right field on a line drive. Let's go and try to score Kelly from second base. 1 to 7, he'll be safe at home. It's a 5, and he's in there as Baltimore picks up another run on the single from Ken Singleton. Eddie Murray with a home run his last time up, but he's got a 31 here. I'm going to have 45. 45 is going to be a fly out as he tries to go back-to-back, but he hits that one into center field. It's no problem in center field for Freddie Lynn as he will make the catch in deepish center field, but that's going to end the game. Baltimore scores 1 in the bottom of the 9th inning, but they needed about 10 to be back in this game, so definitely not enough. As 5, 6, 7, Boston wins this one by a score of 15-7, and a late touchdown by Baltimore makes the game close, but ultimately Boston takes this one. And let me go back and total everything up, and I'll come back with those. All right, and come back with our totals. It's 15-7. That's the win for the Red Sox in Baltimore in this matchup of 1980 AL East teams. 15 runs on 21 hits and 1 error for Boston. 7 runs on 12 hits and 2 errors for Baltimore. The winner is going to be Dennis Eckersley. He goes 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. All of them earned, 4 walks and no Ks. Taking the loss is Scott McGregor, who only goes 1 2/3 innings, gives up 9 runs, 9 earned runs, 10 runs total on 9 hits, 3 walks and 3 Ks. Tough luck for Dennis Martinez as well, who goes 3 innings, gives up 9 hits and 5 runs for Baltimore. This is played again with these. It's kind of a prototype of the cards here that you can see. They'll be better, a little bit more centered in the final presentation, but you can see it's the On Base Baseball Pocket Edition, I'm calling it. And these will basically come in either a clear box or a tuck box or something like that. They can also come wrapped. Just depends on how. It'll save $1 probably to not put it in a box. So if you have any thoughts on that, you can put it down in the comments section. Don't know how much they'll cost. I haven't priced it. I've only put together the files here for this. And then obviously there's some editing that needs to be done. Key code needs to be in red. So I need to go back through and just kind of double check everything and make sure all is okay with these. Because with the National League teams, you only had 8. But with the American League teams, you had 9. And if you put them up next to each other, you can see that the red, this is for like a National League team. So the American League teams need red on 9 players because they play with the DH. But really cool stuff. Makes it super portable because in the end, all you have to do is this. You know, you're just putting everything together. And that's your game right there. So you have all the American League and National League players. This is from the 1980 season. It's easy enough, you know, once I get everything kind of settled and into a template situation, that I can just kind of bring those players over from seasons that I've already done, or maybe there are seasons that you'd like to see that are made for this. But let me know what you think, number one, about the product itself. Is this something you're interested in? You can leave your comments down in the comment section again. This is, you know, the size of a playing card. So it would fit into a tuck box like this, and basically you would have a season inside of a tuck box. And I don't know, it's every team front and back, plus I want to say it's like 5 sheets worth, 5 sheets of 8, so not quite a standard deck of cards of 52, but it will be 40 to 45 cards that would come in a set. But these will be printed and cut just like and gloss, you know, everything that you would expect from a poker card. That's how this would come. So right now I've just printed it onto cardstock, but this would come as a pre-printed set, and it would be print on demand. So as soon as you order it, it gets printed and cut and sent to you. There's a couple different companies. Well, I've used the Game Crafter for the latest roster sheet set booklet, and I've also looked into Drive Through Cards, which somebody, Hockey Bones, one of the games uses. drive-through cards for their cards. So looking at all of those different options, that one might actually be a little bit cheaper for creating card sets, because that's what they do. So we'll just have to look and see what's the best option there for this number of cards. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, click on subscribe. If you like this video, just click on the like button. That's a really easy way to support what we're doing here. If you can also go to Clark and Addison gaming.com, clarkandaddisongaming.com, and you can pick up this 1980 season set. You can get all of the player cards. The player cards look like this. This is the 1995 Braves, but they look just like this. So these are the on-base baseball playing cards. So you can see each individual has his own set of cards here, but the reality is that they match up exactly. Well, if we can find one, they match up exactly with these. So Marquis Grissom, let's see who would. Chipper, no, not Chipper. I don't think I had any. Don't have any that way. So here, these two guys, so he would basically have the 10 to 30. That would be Ryan Klesko's card. Now this is going to be different because this is the 1980s and this is the 1990s. So each decade is just a little bit different. But that's basically transferring what's on these cards over to here. And then each player, depending on their batting runs, gets whatever for that game engine chart put onto their card. But you can also play using the roster sheets, which are just basically a spreadsheet of all of the same data with all the players who are they're rated for on-base baseball with the batting, defense, and speed, and then it's got all their statistics. Everything you would find on the card is in the spreadsheet on the roster sheet. It's just in a different format so that you don't have to print out and cut all the cards. But if you like the cards, print them, cut them. And then for the roster sheet, you would use this game engine chart. You could also use the game engine chart. That's essentially what we're doing here. So you can see this one here would be corresponding with this column. I'm sorry, with this column. And you can tell in the 1940s, a pitcher of that caliber, same as the 1980s. But this is sort of built, I guess, in some ways for the 1940s style of baseball. Let's see, okay, so you can see here there's more strikeouts. There's one strikeout on here. There's two for this one. 34 is a fly out, but we have an extra walk on here. For the 4-2-5, that's this column here. 33 is a home run. 34 is a home run here. So those are all just kind of based off of the percentages of players in each column. And we're trying to bring those pitchers from the average either up or down and match their home run percentage, walk percentage, strikeout percentage, that type of thing. That's mostly what I'm focused on whenever I'm figuring out the pitcher's side of the game engine charts. So it all works together. They're just different modes of playing the same game, and just trying to kind of meet gamers where they are. I'm also always working on an online version where you can play the game online and be able to choose what season and what teams that you want to play, and then you can pick your lineups and then basically play with the cards. As if you had the cards, you'd be able to play the game as well. So there's always something in the works for on-base baseball, sort of the flagship baseball game for the Clark and Addison Gaming Company. But a new one is called Precision Baseball, and that is a really, 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 really good game. Super detailed. And here's a picture of one of the batter cards. Let's see. Here's Austin Riley. You can see here that everything is split spaced. We have their defense and base running These are all sabermetric stats that we use in order to play the game. And then we have their splits down here against right and left-handed pitchers. I don't know if I have any pitching cards. There's a pitcher card. So again, split out against righties and lefties. The unique part of this game is in the pitcher-hitter interaction, which uses these top numbers here. These are based off of multiple different types of statistics. So how are you above or below average in getting strikeouts as a pitcher, allowing walks, allowing home runs, etc. And then as a batter, how much above or below average are you in hitting home runs or taking walks or striking out, getting hit by pitch, things like that. So it's sort of a combination of those numbers together based on a per game basis. And then that tells me how much better or above and below each player is, above the normal, above average. So that'll tell us what type of batter it is. Is this a player who is above average? Is this a player who is below average or just average? And then based on the interaction between those batters and those pitchers, that determines which either the batter or the pitcher card that gets used for the at-bat. So it is what I'm calling a modified or a dynamic 50-50 engine, because it is 50-50 because it's either the batter or the pitcher card. But the way you get to it is not just with a blank, like on this system here, where there's a blank, you go right to the batter card. It's a more nuanced sort of matchup between the two players. And then I'm trying to express what is a good batter, what is a good pitcher, based on these particular counting statistics. So if you're better than average at striking people out, you're better than average at, I guess, below average. You allow fewer walks, but you get more strikeouts, and you have fewer hit by pitch, and you have you give up fewer hits. You're a better pitcher than someone who does those things at a sort of below average rate. So really just trying to express those things. And I go back and I double check and I make sure, okay, like +6 is the best hitter. And when I look at the +6s, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing 2003 right now. And it's like Todd Helton is a +6. And, in 2003, Todd Helton was raking. It's A-Rod is a +4. But that's just because he strikes out a lot, not because he's not great at the other parts. So I'm just looking through all the different hitters and just making sure that everything lines up. For the pitchers, a -6 is as good as you can be. And I haven't gotten into the pitcher side yet, but for this set, I was just showing you, Spencer Strider is a -6, but he's also striking everybody out. And Zach Gallen is a -6, and he's got strikeouts and he's got everything else where he doesn't allow walks and all that kind of stuff. So it seems to match up really well that the really great pitchers are in your -4 to 6. Your good pitchers are 0 to -3. And then your pitchers that are below average are falling somewhere in the negatives. And it seems to be playing really well. You can go on to the playlist here on this channel, and you can check out all of the precision baseball games that I've played. And there are a lot of them, and I'm still continuing to play them out. So you can get a good feel for the flow of the game. The game only costs $12, and you get almost 1,500 player cards, along with all the charts that you need to play the game. I'm trying to keep the price intentionally low, just because there's a lot of printing. There's a lot of color printing that happens with the game. So hopefully that can offset some of your printing costs. But the game is really high quality, very detailed, very robust, especially in the areas of base running and fielding, which not all games kind of get into the weeds with those base running and fielding, but this one does. You can think of it along the lines of Dynasty League or Ballpark Baseball if you've happened to play that game. But it's very detailed, especially in the area of fielding and base running. So go check it out. And there's some fun things with the ballparks and stuff like that. So here's a ballpark sheet. And so you can see that the hits come off of here, but there's some things that are specific to the ballpark. There's an orange line in center field that denotes a home run somewhere out here. It denotes above the line is a home run and below the line is not a home run. And so it's just a line drive right above that orange line. There's some different ground rules and things like that. This is not the best stadium to use, but when you get to Wrigley Field, you can hit it into the basket. The ball can get stuck in the ivy. There's some different kind of funky ground rules because of that ivy on the wall. So those things are counted and included. So it gives you kind of the local flair of whatever ballpark you're playing in. Chase Field, you can hit it into the pool and stuff like that. So very fun using the ballpark card or ballpark sheets. And those sheets also give you the wall height so you can determine, can you rob home runs, which is a part of the game, or not, that type of stuff. So I think it overall maybe plays a little bit easier than Dynasty League or Ballpark, but it includes a lot of the different factors that you would have in there. I haven't put any weather effects or anything like that into the game yet. And there's a whole fielding, in my mind, there's a whole fielding apparatus once the ball is hit that I'd love to be able to include into the game someday. But it's just in my mind at this point. It would be more like a Dynasty League, how you kind of figure out the distances of the fly ball and stuff like that. So that's sort of on the back burner, and I've been thinking about that for a couple of years because that's what I wanted originally to go into the game. But we'll just have to figure it out and see if that can be included or not. Now, the downside for many of the gamers in this community is that game is only going to be from 2003 to today. So it's based off of StatCast data, and the data just isn't there, and I'm not going to make anything up in order to make the game fit. So if you're looking for 70s, 80s, 90s seasons, 1920s, whatever, it's just not going to happen with that game because the numbers just aren't there. But with On-Base Baseball, I do have all of those numbers, and the Game of Dice Baseball is the same thing, which I don't know if I'll produce when I'll get around to producing more seasons for that game, but that's another fun game based off of kind of an if-then conditional type system on the chart. So it's a 50-50 game, but inside of those charts, the batter and pitcher charts, there's sort of a conditionals based layout. So if the batter has an average over 300, then this happens, otherwise this happens. So I thought that was kind of a fun mechanic for a game. It's sort of a little bit like History Maker Baseball. Did this happen? Yes, then do this. No, then do this. But it's a little bit more, it's still based off of numbers and stats and not really the qualities like History Maker Baseball does. So an interesting take on tabletop baseball, and I have lots of different seasons, over 20 seasons available for that, especially in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, I think that's it. I really appreciate everybody's support. Lots of people have picked up Precision Baseball. The 2023 season is out, so you can go and get it at clarkandaddisongaming.com. I expect pretty soon for reviews and things like that to start rolling in. I think the call for review goes out a week or two after you make a purchase, and so that's usually when people start bringing in reviews for the game. So we'll see how it's received at the beginning. You can go and check it out. Like I said, it's only $12. It comes as a PDF, immediate download, so you don't have to wait for things to come in the mail, and you can just start printing and playing within a day. I think it's if you watch a couple of videos, you'll be up and running in no time. It's just a lot of things to remember as you get into it, but it's not super difficult to play. So go check that out. If not, you can go get On-Base Baseball. On-Base plays super fast, super smooth, like APBA Basic or Strat Basic, and it's built, out of the same vein as those games. Kind of went back to the beginning of Dice Baseball in its history, and then rebuilt this game sort of from the ground up. And it's a little bit of a marriage of Strat and App in a lot of ways. So check that out, and all the results, if you buy the seasons, will come off the cards themselves. If you don't want that and you prefer the roster sheets, that's also available to you. You can buy decades worth of roster sheets off of the website, or you can buy season by season if you want to. Okay, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.